I've been making videos on this channel for 8 years, so you should know by now that I am a simple man who appreciates simple things, and there is nothing more simple than a giant lizard and a giant monkey punching each other. My name is Ren, and this is my review of Godzilla Kong, The New Empire. Welcome back, film family. Thank you for joining me to discuss professional wrestling. And I am dead serious because after their explosive showdown in Godzilla vs. Kong, the two ancient titans, Godzilla and Kong, clash in an epic battle as humans unravel their intertwined origins and connection to Hollow Earth's mysteries. And I am not sure who in my audience is a professional wrestling lover like I am. But if you are excited for Godzilla Kong The New Empire, and if you end up loving it, I can tell you right now, you are a lover of pro wrestling because that is all this movie is. It's WWE sized giant, where instead of throwing chairs, tables, ladders, trash cans at your opponent, all these beasts are doing is throwing them through buildings, at buildings, and throwing buildings at them. Adam Wingard has nearly perfected the formula of what a Monsterverse movie can be. And I have never been shy about my feelings towards the Monsterverse as a whole. Whenever Kong is in one of these films, it is a strong entry. Whenever it's just Godzilla, I end up not really caring for it. However, Godzilla Kong, The New Empire is either way tipping the scales. And I can tell you, this is an atomic blast. A fantastically weird and psychedelic trip through the Hollow Earth that expands on the mythos and finally gives the monsters free reign to unleash their fury, their glorious fight, and lead the movie as its title characters. In one utterly absurd romp with crimson apes, frost dragons, and a literal action figure come to life in Dan Stevens, who has one of the greatest character introductions I have ever seen. This is just an unabashedly fun entry in the Monsterverse, one that completely and unashamedly embraces the world and mythology created by Toho in the Showa era and has all the vibrancy, color, spectacle of an 80s power metal album cover, made with the unrestrained sense of childlike wonderment and imagination, something that has become a trademark for director Adam Wingard, who makes Godzilla Kong The New Empire bigger, weirder, and louder than any of its predecessors in the franchise. And with Godzilla Kong The New Empire, Adam Wingard has now become the first and so far only director in the Monsterverse to return to the franchise. And he ensures this is the more version of anything we've seen before in the Monsterverse. More insane action, more ludicrous visuals, and for the first time, our titular characters are our actual protagonists. This is a Kong movie. He leads our narrative. He discovers the other apes. He discovers Scar King, and every other character is just following him while Godzilla has his own globe-trotting adventure from France to Italy to the South Pole and so many titan fights in between. This film is ridiculous. It's 2 hours of pure, blissful, unadulterated entertainment. Not only does Adam Wingard make the Titans our protagonists, he gives them personalities. He gives them a sense of humor. There are moments where, despite not speaking English, these characters are fully communicating and you understand everything, and it's as glorious as when they throw a punch. Another smart decision that Adam Wingard has made is still have the humans, but not only put them in the background, just filling these puzzle pieces for us, delivering the necessary exposition dumps, perhaps a little too late into the movie, but they have an interesting plot. They are part of the expansion, the exploration on the mythology of the Monsterverse, of Hollow Earth, of Godzilla, of Kong, of the Scar King. And so, while they're still extremely flawed as characters, as much fun as Dan Stevens is having on screen, and he's easily the highlight when it comes to the human plot, there is just a fun of seeing people surrounded by this mythology and not spending most of it on Earth. So while most of the movie is focused on the monsters, on the fights, the humans are still there, but there's more wisdom in how the film uses them. That being said, this film is the more version of everything we've gotten before, and that is for the better, and that is for the worse. And I specifically need to mention our human characters once more because I think it's important to acknowledge when there's improvement in a franchise from movie to movie. However, they're still plagued by issues. One of them being that while the cast of Rebecca Hall, Dan Stevens, Brian Tyree Henry, and a little girl from Skull Island in the last film are a welcome party, they have fun with each other, there is personality shining through. But in a Godzilla vs. Kong movie, especially the one that doesn't cut away from the big monster fights and just lets them go all out in all their glory with atomic breaths and giant metallic gauntlets for Kong, we certainly do not need a Jesus chosen one narrative in this film, especially if that Jesus figure is not going to be any of our titans. That is not necessary. And so, for the longest time, for 2/3 of this film, I was just impressed at how committed they were to having the titans on the forefront and the humans in the background. This film turns that on its head. And once more, the humans become sort of essential protagonists to the story. That doesn't take away from the climax of this film, which is just batshit craziness. Absolutely joyfully silly. I was there with a huge smile across my face. I could not stop grinning. I could not stop smiling. I could not stop raising my fist in the air because this is the kind of movie that I will always remember seeing on the big screen. It's an absolutely flawed movie. It's not going to be in my top 10 movies of the year, but the watching experience, the first time I saw Godzilla Kong, the New Empire, a special kind of blockbuster that never takes itself too seriously, and that is exactly the kind of fun that is big, that is dumb, that is loud, and that I love. This is a film filled with many typical flaws in these kinds of movies, but it also brings in spades what we want from these types of movies while being just a spectacular 80s mashup of style and music and visuals and action. I don't know what you need to be to love this movie, but being a professional wrestling fan certainly helps. But hey, we will leave going down the wrestling rabbit hole for another day because it's WrestleMania next weekend, and this weekend is the WrestleMania giant-sized preview I personally crave. So before I dive into my final thoughts on Godzilla Kong, the New Empire, it's time for you to start the conversation about it in the comments below. Are you a fan of the Monsterverse? Which one is your favorite film? Which one is your least favorite? And are you looking forward to see Kong and Godzilla clash once again? Anything and everything down there. If you're enjoying this review, I reviewed most other Monsterverse movies on my channel as well as many other movies. So if you want to talk more movies and TV with me, this is the place to be. Consider clicking that subscribe button and you won't miss any future conversations on your favorite movies and TV. Godzilla Kong, the New Empire is pure joyous absurdity. While Adam Wingard can't escape some of the genre trappings, he cranks up the insanity, the weirdness, and the action to titanic levels in one of the strongest chapters of the franchise, finally giving his monsters unrestrained command of the narrative in a mythology embracing and adrenaline fueled giant sized romp. I'm giving Godzilla Kong, the New Empire, a B+. Thank you so much for watching, Film Family. Remember to start the conversation about Godzilla Kong the New Empire in the comments below, as well as all your thoughts on the Monsterverse and who's a titan you would love to see in a future movie in the franchise. Big shout out to my channel members for always supporting the channel, and I'll be back very soon with more videos. So until the next one, love each other and love the movies.